Hey, do you like Lord of the Rings? Do you like The Wizard of Oz? What about Wreck-It Ralph? Are you a fan of that movie? Legally Blonde? That's a little older one. But, and then a movie that I like too is American Pie. Now, what do these movies have in common? Let's just take the first two that we said Lord of the Rings and Wizard of Oz. And every episode of Dora the Explorer. What do all these things have in common? These are stories. Obviously, I mean, you can tell, right? These are stories whose plot, the story plot, is framed around one particular mission, goal, journey, expedition. Get me? So what are we talking about? We're talking about the Golden Fleece. The Golden Fleece, this is, I think, one of Blake's easiest to identify story structure. In that, like we said earlier, they are plot of movies or books or whatever, where the main thing that's going on is a journey from point A to point B. And it's necessary that there is a point B. We have to get the Holy Grail. We need to find Wizard of Oz, the Oz. We have to get the ring to Mount Doom. Harold and Kumar, we got to get to White Castle. We got to get there. In Wreck-It Ralph, we got to get that medal, the gold medal. It's going to solve all my problems. You have a character who's got problems of some strife, some kind, who's either personal or impersonal. In Lord of the Rings, it's the welfare of planet Earth. In Wreck-It Ralph, it's personal acceptance from the people around him. Anyway, some kind of problem whose solution lies at the end of the tunnel. I got a problem. Solution is all the way over there. I got to go on a journey from point A to point B. If you've got a movie that has that, you are probably going to the Golden Fleece. And I say probably because there's still one or two more ingredients that crystallize it as a Golden Fleece. The really interesting and memorable thing about Golden Fleece is that it has something of which I can only describe as a reversal of some kind. And that is a reversal of importance. That's a clumsy way of saying it, but I don't know how any other way to say it. This is what I mean. In that, from the beginning of the story, the only thing that's important is the character's problems and his or hers need to solve that problem. Think of Shrek. I've got to get him out of my swamp. My swamp. How do I get him out of my swamp? Lord Farquaad says if I go and get Princess Fiona, he'll order them. So it's my problem. Got to solve the problem. That's what's the most important at the beginning of the movie. By the time the movie's over and that Golden Fleece is achieved, or it's the Golden Chalice, or it's Swamp, or the Gold Medal, what have you, there's something very important that happens, and that is a shift in what's the most important. And that is that the character, okay, over the course of the journey, over the course of this long journey, meeting these characters, having this problem over here, opening up about his problem, finding a friend, etc. By the end of all these events of this journey, what becomes the most important thing is the development, growth, and maturity of that character. The Golden Fleece, Blake Snyder summarizes in one sentence, very quick and very brief. He says, hero embarks on a journey and discovers something more important, himself or herself. Legally Blonde. there's this girl in love with this guy. The guy breaks up with her because he thinks that she's a bimbo and he's going to go to law school and that's going to be a whole new life for him. She wants him back. So to get him back, she goes to school and she becomes a lawyer too. But along the way, through her education, she learns of the personal value that she has as a person. And her point of view that she had in the beginning, that all her happiness was around this one person, is something that she outgrows. She learns that she can find happiness somewhere else, that her personal sense of value is not at all contingent or dependent on someone else's approval, but is something that is self-administered. And from there, she can get a new life and she grows as a person. So you see what I'm saying? I envision it like a shuttle. You know, in NASA, when they shoot the shuttle up into space, you have the shuttle riding on a big rocket like this, right? The rocket goes up, and then when it breaks the atmosphere, whatever you call it, the shuttle breaks off that guy, and then the shuttle can go off on its own. So in the same sense, so you have a character whose motivation to get the movie going is problem A, and then when they go on the journey to solve that problem, they realize they grow in some way where that stops being the point. And the real point of the movie is how they grew as a person. And then it breaks off, and then this becomes the more important thing. Does that make sense? But it doesn't happen in every movie. That last part doesn't happen in every movie. But in good movies, it does. In the beginning, when I said every episode of Dora the Explorer, every episode is a Golden Fleece, in the sense that it's, hill, mountain, grandma's house, hill, mountain, grandma, right? They want to get from point A to point B. But good writers that make good episodes have it so that along the way, there's going to be meaningful, memorable, important episodes or important interactions that she's going to have, that by the end of the episode, she's going to look back, and those are the things which are going to help it seem as though, not seem as though it was a trick, but those are the things that when you look back on it, make the adventure worthwhile. Get what I'm saying? So, or Ocean's 11 is another one where you have people that rob a casino. There are other things that happen. George Clooney rekindles his love with his wife, and there's other minor character arcs, but the main arc of robbing the casino doesn't really change all that much. So the Golden Fleece isn't committed to course corrections like we see in Wreck-It Ralph, where he wants to get the medal, and when he gets the medal, he throws the medal away, realizes he doesn't want it, and then he goes and rights the wrongs that he did to Sarah Silverman's character. I forget her name. So those course corrections are what's found in my opinion, good Golden Fleece films, but not all of them have to have it. The only quintessential fundamental components, moving parts, so to speak, out of the Golden Fleece is a problem, which puts into motion things that make a journey necessary to acquire something that's going to answer the problem, and a long journey, which is going to have in it a lot of episodes, which is going to grow the character in some meaningful way. The course correction element is nice in the end, but it's not necessary. So, to give examples, I listed a few at the beginning of the film: Ocean's 11, Lord of the Rings, Legally Blonde, Wizard of Oz. Yet they're they all adhere to the structural outline in various different ways, or some of them include other elements and are not so unadulterated as, say, like the Wizard of Oz, which is just the epitome of the Golden Fleece. Alright, so that's the Golden Fleece. Very, very simple, straightforward structure to understand. In practice, you can make it complicated like the Lord of the Rings, but at its heart, at its most fundamental, at the bones, that's what it is. Journey that leads to personal growth. Journey, personal growth. Want, need, journey to solve that need, but then personal growth, unexpected personal growth. Okay? That's Golden Fleece. Golden Fleece. Alright. That's 2 down. 8 to go. I'll see you guys on the next video.